Channel Study Smart. Uh, Today I'm going to teach you one chapter from uh, class 11 economics, that is index number. Why index number is necessary uh, in our daily analysis. Uh, Before that, I want to tell you something that our economy is very dynamic. That means it is every day it is changing. It is changing in respect of prices, it is changing in respect of consumption, production, investment, development, values. It is changing, I mean, continuously there is a change. But what are the process by which we can capture these changes? Now, it is index number, it is a statistical device for measuring changes in the magnitude of a group of related variables. That means if there is a change in the prices, if there is a change in the quantity, then what is the instrument through which we can capture these changes? Not only the changes, but we can capture the magnitude of the change also. That means how much the changes have taken place. Now, there can be different types of index number. It can be price index number, it can be quantity index number, and it can be value index number. Now, what is price index number? Suppose today's price for a particular commodity is rupees 50 per kg. It will not remain same after 5 years. It will change. It may increase or it may decrease. We have to measure after 5 years how much change has taken place, and these things we will do with the help of index number. Now if there is a change in respect of prices, the instrument, the statistical device by which we will capture these changes or measure will be called price index number. And if there is change in the quantity, consumption, and with the help of quantity index number we will be able to measure that changes, and same for the value, expenditure, spending, and all that. Now, price index number can be divided into two types. One is wholesale price index and another is retail price index. Now, as we know, in our domestic market there are two types of market. One is wholesale market and another is retail market. Wholesale markets are generally for the sailors. Sailors buy commodities or the items from the wholesale market because they get in the items in a very low price, and they sell it in some other market or the retail market where they earn profits. And the retail markets are for the consumers like us. We go to small shops uh, around us and buy goods from them. Now, as there is differences in the price of commodities in the retail market and the wholesale market, we need to construct two types of price index number, one for retail market and another for wholesale market. For retail market, the index number we construct is called retail price index, and for wholesale market, the price index number we measure is called wholesale price index number. Now, how we calculate? Suppose I'm giving you an example. I want to calculate the price index of some commodities in 2017. Now, whom should I compare it? I need some base. I need to standardize it with something. Now, base here is actually the that standardization. That means it is the base on which we have to calculate what we want to calculate. Now, base year definition can be given as it is the reference year from which our index number is calculated. That means if I want to compare the price of the commodities of 2017, I need to compare it with some past years. I have considered is at suppose 2013. Then 2013 will be my base year. Okay. Now this base year should be a normal year. What do we mean by normal year? Normal year means there should not be any kind of abnormalities in the economy, like no natural calamities, no wars, no floods, no any political unrest. So it will be a normal year where any kind of abnormalities had happened. Okay, then the 2013, suppose I'm giving the example, 2013 will be called the base year, and on the basis of that we will compare 2017 how much price has increased compared to 2013. Okay, now the statistician really faced some problems in construction of the index number. There are different types of construction of index number that we will learn in the topic later, like Pershi's index number, Lashpier's index number, Fisher's, Bowley, Edgeworth. So there are different types of methods for the construction of index number. But there are some problems for the construction of this index number. Now, this is the list of some problems when the statistician faces to construct any kind of index number. What are these problems? Number one is purpose of index number. That means when we are going to construct the index number, first we have to decide and define on which purpose we are going to uh, measure it. Suppose whether I am going to construct uh, price index number, I want to compare the prices or the quantities or the values, what actually I am going to compare. So that is important. If I am going to comparing the prices, then I have to go for price index number. If I am going to compare the consumption or the quantity, how much quantity it will be sold or it will be consumed, then I have to go for the quantity index number. So the purpose will be decided first. On which purpose these index number we are going to construct. Second is selection of base year. That means if we are going to compare what is the comparable yardstick. That means किसके साथ हम कंपेयर करना चाहते हैं, किसी एक के साथ. Now we have to select a base year, and I have already told you that these selection of base year will be a normal year, not any kind of specific or abnormal year. Okay, then we have to select the base year. On the basis of this year we are comparing 2017 price or quantity or value, whatever. Second is selection of number of items or the commodities. When we construct index number, we have to take a list of the different commodities and we have to calculate the prices. Prices, quantities, these things are given, or we have to collect through different sources of data. Now, suppose I am considering a very few amounts of commodities. Then what will happen? it will not be the proper representative of all the items. Now, suppose if I'm considering a very large amount of items, then what will happen? It will be very time consuming, cost effective, and wastage of time. So it will always advisable to select a moderate amount of list which will be a representative, which is not very much uh, costly, and which takes a lesser amount of time to construct. So we will choose neither a very lower number of items nor a very large number of items. Fourth is selection of sources of data. While selecting the sources of data, we have to very much aware that the sources from where we are taking our data should be accurate and reliable. Otherwise, it will not be representative for our result. Next is price quotations. What does this price quotations means? It means in the different regions of a country or the according to the place, the prices varies. But it is not always possible to take price quotations from all the places. So what we have to do, we have to take a general price quotation which will fit for all the places. That means it should be taken which will represent all the places. So in case of price quotations, we have to consider it.